Hey folks, Jonathan here. We had an unsuccessful surface grind, I guess, on the last video, and I got a lot of comments about it. People said, well, you're moving too fast or you're trying to take too much. Well, I had went both ways. I'd taken less, I'd taken more, I'd went slower, went faster. I've tried everything. And one thing about it is I bought this machine, or I traded for this machine, and I really didn't do anything to it. I just got it here. Got a lot of attachments and stones. I've got enough stones to last me 4 or 5 lifetimes. But anyway, I hadn't tried to surface the stone or anything like that. I just stuck it in there and was just seeing what it would do. But I've got the attachment. I went and grabbed it to actually mount it. It looked like it stayed mounted up there for a long time because it had a lot of crap in it where it had been worked with it on it, and somebody had taken it off. So we're going to mount that back on it, and I've got the diamond and everything. We're going to recut that, and we may try a different wheel. There wasn't a wheel on it when I got it, and I just grabbed the first one I could grab, and I could go in and maybe see what that is actually for, because I've got so many of them. I've actually got boxes and boxes and boxes of them. But anyway, there's this cabinet that had a bunch of stuff in it. Here's the piece to balance the stone, and here is the piece where you use on that to balance it, and evidently it's never been used. Now these feet and these adjusters don't look like they go to it, so I don't know where they why they were in here. But there's some stuff in these, and I'm not sure what it is, but I do have the operator's manual and granite surface plate cleaner. Here's the guard for it. We're not going to run the guard on it, even though we probably should. We're still not going to. And don't know what these are. And like I said, I've got a whole cabinet that's got nothing but wheels and other accessories and stuff for it. So, and it's a big cabinet. So don't know what all I've got, but I'm going to go ahead and try to surface this stone. And we'll just put that cam back on there one more time and see what it looks like. I really need to set up a way of holding it down better. But and I may have a way. I might try to figure something out on that. But that's why I couldn't take a very heavy pass on it anyway. But we're going to try it and just see what happens. Alright. Okay folks, surfaced the stone, done it again. A whole lot better than it was. And it's not perfect, but it's plenty good enough for what we're doing. And I can practice with it a little more and get a little better on it. But that took just about everything out of it. It's nice and smooth. So that was the main problem, was just needed that stone done. And like I said, I'm sure I'm not doing the right speeds and stuff still, but I'll do a little studying on it here. Maybe next time I use it, it'll be a little come out a little bit better. But anyway, we got it. That's all that matters. Okay folks, I'm going to address one more comment that we had on the last video also. Somebody had said something about don't understand why I don't take automotive cams and machine them down and do these lobes. Actually, I considered that, but the reason I didn't do that, and as you can see, here's a small block Chevrolet cam that I have done some work on, and this is for an overhead cam engine that I plan to build in the future. And anyway, these are the 2 lobes I'll use on it. But anyway, you get what I'm talking about. The base circle on these is much bigger than the base circle here than this, and I was hoping that this would be smaller. So what I was trying to do was find the smallest thing I could find at the quickest amount of time without having to do a lot of machining. It'd take a little bit of time to get to get out of these lobes what I would want. I'd have to bore the 1/2-inch hole through it, turn it down, and then put something on it to hold it, sort of like this had that snap ring. And like I said, I could do it, but time wise I was just trying to save a little time and get the base circle to be a little bit smaller so it wasn't so out of place. But the lift on this cam is probably about the same as this one. There's not much difference in them lobes, and I may use them later, just depends. But anyway, that's the reason that I didn't do it. And I want to maybe be able to build 2 or 3 of these engines later on, maybe at once. So still looking for a source for cylinders, of whether I come up with something on my own or build something. You know, I bought the one OMC cylinder. The bore's a little big on it, but you know, I could change my case design. Just something that's, you know, readily accessible, and there's not too many cylinders like that that are. The bigger airplane cylinders are pretty easy to get a hold of, and so anyway, but that's the reason, you know, trying to make things quick and simple. But we may use a regular lobe later. But and the extra APU cylinder that I've got, which is what I used on the original first engine, is basically the one that I'm going to do the overhead cam using this cam with. And I've just got to build some more stuff for it and figure out what bearing size I'm going to use so I can turn it down to what bearing size and you know, the shaft size for the chain and the sprocket to run it. But the distance between the lifters was right, or the lobes, and so I just chucked it up and done a little bit on it, and we'll do more on it later on. But anyway, I think that's everything on the cam, you know, all the questions and stuff. And I know I didn't show in the video, you know, this was rough inside in the cam. I did machine all that out and get that good and smooth, and them shims fit right down in there to it, you know, good. This thing's good and tight in there, it's not going anywhere. And of course it rotates on the cam, and the gear's what would be, you know, floating separate. But it's gonna work just fine, I have no doubt. And I'm getting ready to drill and put in some studs for the cylinder, and a few more little things on the block, and we're going to try to pull it down and put the oil slinger on and do the final assembly on the engine. So, all right. Okay folks, we've got our cylinder bolts done. I'm going to put studs in it, but these bolts are here just temporary. What I'm going to do, we'll pull this intake back off, pull our valve back out, and we'll go down through and mark exactly where we want our push rod to come, or our lifter to come up through, and that'll be the best way to do it. That way we know we got it exact. And let me see, I want to show you the carburetor. Done some cleaning on it. It's not done yet, but cleaned it up some. I found out this is an 8-horse Briggs carburetor, so you know, I'm not saying this is going to be 8 horsepower, but with the bore and stroke and the lift, we should you know, we should get 5 horsepower, you know, horsepower or something out of it. Might do better than that, you never know. But who knows? But it'll be enough. You know, a lot of the old bikes, the original 1908, 1909, 1910, you know, through there, some, you know, a lot of them bikes was 2.5 horsepower, 3 horsepower at the most. Well, I wanted to add too, I forgot to say anything about it last night, but another one of the reasons I wanted to use this carburetor is because it basically weighs nothing in comparison to that brass carburetor. And hanging off of there like that, you know, we still may run a brace on it, but you know, if you get a lot of shake and vibrating, it'll crack this pipe. So I think it'll be fine with that little light carburetor though. But that's the other deal. Alright. Okay, so we've got the valve out. I measured the stem and it's 5/16. So what we're going to do, I've got a 5/16 bit here that's a centering bit. Should be able to drop her down through there. And we know exactly where we need to be. Let me drill just a little bit, put me a mark there, and then we can take the cylinder back off and work on that. See, sometimes you need old tools. I couldn't get the chuck of anything else down in there, but this worked. Okay folks, we've got our place marked. We'll get this off. We're going to figure out what we're going to do on the lifter. But I went in and to eat, and my wife just absolutely stuffed me full of chicken and cottage cheese and applesauce, and then a bunch of no-bake cookies, and I can't hardly move, so I think I'm going to call it a night. It's after 10 o'clock anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and post this video. A little short one, but you know, what the heck. Hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to get this together pretty quick, and we'll probably do another live stream of first start. This one's going to start a lot quicker though. You know, the other one, A lot of you may have noticed that I wasn't the happiest person in the world when it did start, and I was having issues with that magneto, and I probably should have known better than to trust, you know, a magneto that was over 100 years old, you know, firing consistent and doing what I wanted. And I was just having some issues with it, but we won't let that happen again. So this engine here, I'm going to tell you it's going to start right up, but we'll see, huh? All right. Appreciate everybody watching, and till next time. Bye.